The 400 Bulls was directed by Francois Truffaut and released on November 16th, 1959. The story takes place in 1950s Paris, France, and is about a delinquent boy named Antoine and how he finds his own life when no one else believed in him or understood him. The setting takes place inside a small police bus where we see Antoine inside with prostitutes and thieves being driven through Paris during the late night to a different jail. It being filmed at night conveys the moods of sadness and hopelessness. This scene depicts in the setting finally moving to locations other than Paris, which was Antoine's comfort zone. In Paris, he was able to get away with stuff like stealing and lying, and being taken away from his comfort zone, he couldn't do those things. When talking about the costume and makeup, we see that throughout the majority of the film, Antoine wears the same rugged, dirty turtleneck and checker jacket. This represents that his parents could not really afford other clothes for him. His hair is also consistently unkempt and doesn't seem to bother, as it might end up being messy again. His clothes also portray his rebellious nature, as he himself preferred it over the typical suit and tie that other kids his age wore. The lighting in the scene is mostly dark due to being filmed at night. The police bus itself is dark, and there is no light inside, and the only source of light is from outside from all the buildings and bright signs. During the majority of the scene, Antoine's face is bathed in shadow, except for certain bits in which the light hits his face and highlight that he's crying. In terms of acting, Antoine's actor, Jean-Pierre Laude, doesn't need dialogue to tell the audience how he's feeling. Through the simple use of facial expression, we can tell that he is truly sad. This is interesting in that prior to this scene, Antoine was seen to have this tough guy mentality and that he was always arrogant and brash. Here we see a different side of him, a side in which he loses the small portion left of his innocence. He is now alone, being forced into the world of adulthood at only 14 years old. Truffaut organizes the scene in which Antoine is in the front of the camera, which allows us to focus on him more. We hardly get to see his face clearly, except when the light passes through and we visibly get to see his emotions. Antoine is in the foreground, and the other people inside the bus are in the middle ground, and the front of the bus itself is in the background. The camera composition was dealt in a simple way in which Truffaut stays in one angle through most of the scene, and only ever focuses on Antoine and no one else. We are not looking down at him or looking up. We are at equal eye level in order to focus on his emotional hardship he is experiencing. We get a small glimpse of what he sees as the city's nightlife moves by him. The end of this scene is heart-wrenching, in which we get a zoomed-in shot of Antoine as he arrives at the new jail. He now has to fend for himself because no one else can.